Ciao Juventini, welcome to another episode of What's Up With You. We're going to recap the latest news from this past week surrounding Juve, from transfer gossip, and we're going to get into all the anniversaries that we passed this coming week. And I'm going to give my take on a very, very shocking discussion that I overheard some Juventini involved in regarding two Juve greats. So stay tuned, all on this episode of What's Up With You. All right, so let's kick it off with a little bit of transfer gossip. There wasn't a whole bunch that took place that we didn't already know that was being said. One of the things involving Pjanic, however, of course, there was notes being made that involving Barcelona, Juve had inquired about De Jong. And also Dembele is now becoming a name that's being associated since Arthur's so reluctant and that move might not happen. But I wouldn't pay a whole bunch of attention to it. De Jong, can't see Barca getting rid of him. And not only that, but Dembele, I just don't see it as a good enough swap for Pjanic. We need someone that's going to make immediate impact. Now, another rumor that took place, and I know it's a weak source, and I know it's just a rumor, but it highlights the type of move I feel Juve needs to make, and that was involving PSG, where it said that Juve was mentioning Verratti's name more than Paredes. That's the kind of immediate impact type of player we need to be looking for if we're going to make the move from Pjanic. I also think Jorginho would be an immediate impact to this club, especially with Sarri staying on this season. So just wanted to highlight that, but interesting to see what's going to develop. I don't think anything's going to happen with Barca personally. Carrying on with the rumors, 11 names were released involving Juve and what they're going to use in swap deals and transfers. Honestly, from the 11 names, none of them should come to a surprise, but two of them would be very disappointing to me to see let go, Pellegrini and Romero. We will be fairly good, depending on what happens with Rugani. If Rugani goes, then I think Romero should have the spot with the club to be that substitute. If Rugani stays, alone at the very least involving Romero would be fine. But to have both those guys go, very, very bizarre. And Pellegrini, we are linked with some left backs, obviously Emerson being one of them. This is what I find strange. So to make a transfer move while not getting rid of Sandro when you have Pellegrini there, I find very, very bizarre. So if they're trying to make a transfer move for another left back, I can't anticipate some of those names coming in and wanting to be backup. But Pellegrini would be just fine with it because he needs to develop. So I can't make sense why we're looking at left backs without discussions of getting rid of Sandro. Very, very bizarre, because even if we were to make a move and Sandro goes out, we still need to have a substitute at left back. We can't do what we did again this season, right? So Pellegrini needs to stay. But other than that, the other names, they're all fine and expected. Last bit on the transfer gossip, as I don't want to get too involved in this because not a whole bunch of new news, but the Dybala extension. We got a lot of fans that seem to think that this extension's taking so long, and why is it taking so long? Why can't we lock it? I agree. We need to lock in Dybala immediately. However, I think because of the pandemic, it kind of makes sense to me why it's being prolonged, because they just need to get a few ducks in a row, so to speak, involving salaries and who's going to go and what's going to work before they can actually lock it in. I don't see it to be any cause for concern. As some fans are now even speculating, they wouldn't be surprised to see Dybala go. I honestly hope not, but after last summer, I mean, anything can happen surrounding Juve. It's shocking. However, I choose to believe personally that the words they say about Dybala, the future captain, and locking him in are true. So let's fingers crossed on that one. Let's get into some of the anniversaries that we passed this following week. Of course, May 29th marked the Hazel Stadium disaster. this is always a tough day when it comes on, and just remembering that, thinking about that. But a day that should have been joyous for all of his fans, and should have been one of the most memorable moments for them, and just a highlight. Ended up with them not even going home. 39 fans. Respeto. Never, ever, ever forget. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can say to that, but it's amazing how life can just turn in the blink of an eye. So let's not take anything for granted, Juventini. Um, yeah, with other anniversaries, we pass is Sharia, Caetano Sharia's birthday on the 25th. What is there to be said about Sharia? One of the greatest defenders ever, one of 5 European players to win every international trophy. And he's also one of 9 to win each of the 3 UEFA major competitions. Spectacular, always decorated, celebrated. Sharia, one of the absolute best. We also passed the day Andrea Pirlo signed for Juve. Um, it's just epic. This is from, of course, the debut season as a Juve player, and what a season, what an impact. Um, Speaking on my own behalf, I never would have expected that. I didn't expect that. And what an incredible surprise. And my question to you and team watching, did you expect that out of Pirlo? Were you expecting, were you fully, or were you surprised by the incredible revolution that he led? I, for one, was surprised, but incredible. And Pirlo became instantly a favorite amongst the Juve fan base. Um, Another one is Nedved's retirement. Pavel Nedved, what an absolute beast he was. One of the signings made after, of course, Zinedine Zidane had left, and boy, did that ever work out. Fantastic. Here's one of my favorite Juve jerseys with Nedved on the back, and this always reminds me of that goal against Real Madrid in Torino. It's just unbelievable, iconic celebration, incredible goal, the ball over the top from Zambrotta, fantastic. Nedved gave us so many golazos, incredible. And he got the guard of honor, of course, in his last game. Del Piero coming out and presenting the signed kit with 327 on it. Obviously, the number of appearances made for Juventus. My question is, do you find it bizarre that Pavel Nedved, granted he was fantastic, won the Ballon d'Or 2003, but again, going back to this highlight of how we treat our legends, Del Piero, again, highlighting how he didn't get even as much as Nedved. It's a bit strange, but Pavel, grazie per tutto. Fantastic career, and exceptional in the UV colors. Now, of course, part of the management team. Sempre grazie, one of our favorites. And now some news. August 7th has been confirmed as the match between Juve and Lyon. Okay, we know now Serie A is back, everybody. Okay, government given the go-ahead for them to resume. Okay, it's going to start with Coppa Italia, June 14th. That competition will wrap up. Okay, then they're going to get to the Serie A matches, and then we're going to get to the Champions League. So I brought up August 7th being confirmed for Lyon and Juve. Now, of course, Lyon, which Lyon is a part of in France, has been canceled. They've shut it down. They just named their champions, and it's over. He's spoken out, pleading to have the season restarted after what he calls a hasty decision. Now, he says that teams like Lyon and PSG will be massacred by teams who will have the preparation required. Well, you could look at this 2 different ways. One, our schedule, like I said, the Coppa Italia will wrap up. There's not many games there. We'll have a second leg with Milan, and then, of course, the final, should we make it. But then Serie A is cramped. They're trying to get all those matches done. So we are basically playing a game with 3-match break, and then a game with 4-match break in between just to get them all in. That's going to be a cramped schedule. All our players are going to have to be used. It's the only way you're going to do it, or you're going to burn them all out. So while Lyon's president is saying they don't have the competitive matches, they can always set up competitive training sessions and whatnot with other clubs and whatnot just to kind of stay sharp. But at the most, they should be fresh, rested, and ready to go. I feel it's going to be very, very tough for Juve with an average age of 29 and a half years to have that motor ready come Champions League. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. We're going to have heavy, heavy rotation. And my question to you, the team, is that going to hinder Juve? Or are we going to be okay having to use that depth? I want to know what all your thoughts are, because personally, I'm a little bit concerned. But I want to hear all your comments, and then we'll dive deeper. Finally, the discussion that took place over social media that absolutely had me shocked. Juventini claiming that Giorgio Chiellini and Gigi Buffon have loser mentalities. Not that they necessarily always started it, but that they have loser mentalities that have somehow come over the period of being with Juve. Now, I know with Chiellini's book, there's all sorts of things being said about him, whether you agree with what he's doing or you don't. I just don't think we can say that these guys have loser mentalities. Gigi Buffon, if he had a loser mentality, would not have stayed in 2006. He would have taken the easy path, gone to a different club where he could have competed, possibly even won that Champions League that eluded him, but he didn't. He chose to stay. Elite mentality. Brought us back, competed, has been one of the top throughout all these years, remained one of the best. No, he's not a loser, does not have a loser mentality. Chiellini has put through multiple knocks, injuries, has been a stellar force at the back. A guy that many have named one of the toughest to play against. Despite what they may say about opponents and showing too much respect or not, that's not a loser mentality. We have to take a look at how they've acted, behaved, and everything to actually determine that. But absolutely shocking stuff. But I want to hear all of you. I want to hear every single one of you that's watched this video, and whether you agree with me or not. But Gigi Buffon and Giorgio Chiellini, are they losers? Do they have loser mentalities? Let me hear it. Let me hear what you have to say. That's it for another episode of What's Up With You. But real quick before we finish off, obviously I'm sporting the Claudio Marchisio Strike Hearts shirt, and we had a few new members joining the Strike Hearts family, getting their gear this week, and I just want to thank each and every one of you who supported Strike Hearts through the month of May. I've got a fantastic promo coming out in June, so stay tuned. Yeah, just as a way of saying thank you to everyone for the support. I love all the pictures being posted of all these Juventini worldwide getting their merchandise. Honestly, it brings a big smile on my face. I love it. I'm glad that you're all happy with everything you're getting. And thank you very, very much for all the support. Until next time, everybody, ciao. And Forza Juve, fino alla fine.